Hello buddies, and welcome back to this masterclass for the beginner in JSP. Today guys, we are going to learn something different, something very creative, something really interesting, and is about JSP actions. So remember in the previous lesson also we learned about JSP directives, and hope that you guys did understand a little there, a little here, and you can leverage what we learned. So without much ado, let's get started. So we will start off by discussing what actions in JSP are, and these actions use the constructs in XML syntax to control the behaviors of a servlet engine. So you can dynamically insert a file, reuse Java Beans components, forward the user to another page, or generate HTML for the Java plugin. So this is the syntax for this JSP action, and there are actually many of them, but this is the syntax for to write them. So first we structure the JSP and the action name. So this should be the action name like this, and then the attribute that you want from that action. So it should be attribute, and the attribute will be assigned by you. So yeah, just like that. So this is the value that we will put in our attributes. So that is what we want. So value. This is the syntax. This is the syntax, but it's not really science. I will not call it science or whatever the names, but it's just calling JSP. Why are you even doing that? Anyway, let's forget about that. So let's start by actually before we go far, just know that actions elements, this action that we are talking about, and they are called action elements, and we have said that they are actually defined by XML language, or they are written in XML language. These actions are actually functions. That is what I wanted to put across. So and the list is really long, but we can just mention them, and because we will use them later. So let me just mention them, and we are done. So the first one is the include, and so this action includes a file at the time the page is requested. So once you request a page, for example, you wanted a home page, once you request that page, that's when these actions is initiated or called, we can say. So this action includes a file at that time the page is requested. And also we have the use bin. The use bin finds or instantiate a Java beans. So this one is going to be used when you want a Java beans, the component of a Java bean. Can I show you a Java bean here in my case? Like I think I have a Java bean. Okay, DAO. Let me see my bean over here. Yeah, here you can see. So a bean is just something like this. So that one is used when you are using. You see, this is this package called a bean, and this one is used to hold. It actually has the getters and setters. So this is it. You have a constructor here. You have some variable here, and you see we have this over here, getter and setters. So this you can go down. There's so many. So you can see these are setters. So that is it. This is how a user bin looks like. And also we have, let me just cancel this. So we also have the set property. So the set property this sets the property of a Java pin. This is what we saw in here. Let me just go back. So that's why I said the set and getters. So we have this is a constructor. Let me get the setup. For example, this is a getter, and let me just find a better one. Yeah, like this one. Let me see if we have the set and set. Get comment, get photo, get group ID. You see set comment, so you can see this actually sets the properties of a Java pin. And also we have the get property. You have seen this get property here, so we can leverage this to get from and also we have the forward. Now let me just cancel this. We have the forward. This actually forwards the requester to a new page. For example, I have my let me just open this. Maybe login should be forwarded to something. Let me just find the login action. So this is my other online shopping system. So I just want to show you where I have created the forward. So web page, and let me find maybe the login action. Now let me just get the login action. So you can see here, okay, response.send redirect. So this is sending redirect, right? It's the same as forwarding. Once something is done, you forward the request to another page. Though I haven't used this here, but it's almost like this because it forwards the request to another page, so or a new page. So let's talk about again a plugin. So a plugin also generate a browser specific code that makes an object or embedded tag for the Java plugin. And also we have another action, which is JSP elements. So this defines the elements. This actually defines the XML element dynamically. So they keep on dynamically changing. It's not static. And also we have the attribute. So this attribute defines dynamically defined XML elements attributes. So lastly but not least, we have the body action, which defines the dynamically defined XML elements in a body. Last, we have the text. So the text is used to write the template text in a JSP page and a document. So don't be worried of just mentioning them or showing you things over here. Don't be scared, because we will get back to them and just analyze one by one and see how we can rate of them, right? Okay, let's start with a common attributes. So there are two attributes that are common to all actions elements: the ID attribute and the scope attribute. So the ID attribute, this uniquely identifies the actions element. So all the actions element have their IDs, and so the IDs used to identify the actions element uniquely, and this allows the action to be referenced inside the JSP page. So we must have the ID. Just we want to reference a page, we can use ID to maneuver traversal or to get the content that we want. So if the actions create an instance of an object, so the ID value can be used to reference it through the implicit object page context. So the attribute is so important over there. And also let's see about the scope attributes. So the scope attributes, this defines the life cycle of an action element. So the ID attribute and the scope attribute are directly related, as the scope attribute determine the lifespan of the object associated with the ID. So the scope attribute has 4 possible values. So the scope is the first one is page, and the second one is the request, and the third one is session, and the last one is application. So that is it. So again, let's talk about the JSP include action. So it's going to be, let me just come back here. Let's talk about JSP include action. So this action lets you insert the file into the page being generated. So the syntax for this JSP include action is actually written like this. This is different. This is different actually from the previous one. So it's written like JSP and then include, then the page, then we assign in the relative URL. So it should be the relative URL here where we want it, where the page is. Yeah, this is the link to the page source. So this should be relative here. Relative URL. And then we add the difference here now is the flash keyword. Flash, which should be assigned to be equal true. So it should be true here. Just like that. So this is the syntax for the JSP include actions. So unlike the include directive, this one, for example, I think on the, let me just come back. Yeah, you see, it's not like this one. This is not. You see this line over here. It's not like this one. Yeah, it's different because it has the flash. So yeah, so unlike this directive, which insert the file at the time the JSP page is translated into a servlet, this one. So this action, this one here, this is inserts the file at the time the page is requested. So once you request the page, that's when it includes that page, unlike the previous one. So again, so let's list the attributes. Allow me to list this attribute which are associated with the include action. So the first one is the page, this action here. This is what is associated with, so the page, which actually the relative URL of the page to be included. So you can see here the page, in this page, and you can come back here, maybe even to my cart. Let me see. Yeah, you see them here. You can see this include over here, but this one is different. So let's get back here. So the last one is we have only two, so we have the flash. So and the flash value is actually a Boolean attribute which determines whether the included sources has its buffer flash before it is included. So let's do an example here. So I just want to do an example of two-page load here. Okay, let me just delete this. Remove all this. Yeah. So just wanted to define two files. The first one is data.jsp, and I create the second one which is main.jsp, and see how we can connect them. So let me come back here, close all this. Let me just don't save anything, don't save. I'm just cancelling this. So in this YouTube, let's say let me just create two of them here. New JSP. This one I will have this page. Let me call it data.jsp, data.jsp, finish. And again, I should have another one before I go far. Let me create another one and new JSP, and I call it main.jsp, and then finish. So okay, so in this data.jsp, let me just come back here. In this, I just want to have a p tag here, a p tag, so I have this p tag here, and I just want to say today's, how can I include this? Today's date, and then I use my JSP thing here, so JSP percentage, and then now I can equal to, I can say now I can create this Java, now I can create new Java dot util dot date, or should be capital letter date. This is a function, so I want a local time, so I can say dot util dot local time, local time dot to local string, and then I end up with yeah, just like that. So this is a paragraph. Let me just push this to this side a little bit. Yeah, just like that. So again, so let me go back to the content of the main. Here in the main, I just want to have a header here, and the header I can just say the include action yeah, okay. So I should come back to I go back to the body here. Again, I create a center division, so center, so in this center I just want to present everything, so I can have my h1 here, h2 I hit that, so I can say this is okay. Include action just like that. The include action example. So here I forget to do this, and let me just have JSP action here. JSP what? Include JSP include. Yeah. So you see, I can include something wrong here. JSP include page, Then now let me just have the pages that I want to include is data. So it's data. So you can actually data or date. I could have created this is date. Let me just see if I can refactor it. Hold on. Refactor name date. Then hit enter. And I think this has changed date. So I just wanna include that page here. Date dot JSP. Then now I can put the flash maybe to be equal to true, and yeah, that is true. So this where you came from. True. The only thing I need to do here is to close this like that. So that is all. Let me just run now and see whether it's working. So we have used this action, which is include, and the flash we have just turned it into true. So we want to see whether we can have the date in our from here. You see, this is where we have the date, and we want to see whether once we run this main we can have it here to display it over here. So I'll just save this, and now run on a server, yeah, yes, Tomcat. Yeah, I'm using the action cannot be run on any server. Cannot be run on any server. Run this. Why? Hold on, guys. Hold on. So it's running. It's just started running, and yeah, it's running. Let me pause so that once it finishes, I open it. Sure, there we go. So we have the include action example, and we have to lay. So let me just convert this. So guys, you can see that we have actually successfully done what we wanted. So you see that we included that page here, and using the what if this is false? False. Let me just save. So we included the page here, and we have said that this is different from the other one, right? And that's where we declared the date, and we centered it. Oh, that was awesome. So let's run it again and see whether what we can skip again. Yeah, it's still working. So guys, that is it for today's class lesson, and next lesson we will learn about USB bin actions, and we will do the same example just like this and see what happened. So thank you so much for joining the class of today, and have a good time, have a good evening, a good morning, and say hello to everybody who is interested in JSP programming. So thank you, and have a good, there we go.